Let me see if I can get the screens switched. Let me play a video. Speaking of which, we always honor our veterans. We appreciate everything they do. There's a film that we're going to play a movie trailer for, and we'll let the gentleman come on and let us know what it's all about.
I was asked by then candidate Donald Trump to become one of his national security policy advisors. And it was at that time that I was also introduced to a grassroots organization called Veterans for Trump.
Among all other demographics in this country, it will be the veterans that can sway the vote. We're good leaders, we're good organizers.
Our primary mission at Veterans for America First, our grassroots mission, is to get President Trump reelected for the third time.
Donald Trump wins the presidency.
And the black community, we loved him.
President Trump has been fantastic to veterans across the nation.
Sandy and Donna Fitzgerald, thank you very much.
The 2020 election was stolen, and we all know it.
Joseph R. Biden Jr. is elected the 46th president of the United States.
America is failing under the Biden regime.
A lot of the policies that come from the left just lead into lawlessness.
An illegal immigrant charged with the murder of a 22-year-old Georgia nursing student, Laken Riley.
Crime continues to surge in big cities across the country.
Inflation remains a near 40-year high.
Woke stuff is like a religion.
Biden proclaims Easter Sunday as Trans Day of Visibility.
The leftists have nearly completely captured our classrooms. All of them.
The careless and dangerous political agendas that aim to target and influence our kids needs to end.
I believe that we are on the brink of this nation falling apart.
President Trump is coming for the deep state to hold these bastards accountable.
You know, son, most people don't remember what they had for breakfast yesterday, but most people remember their wallet on how it was under Donald Trump, because you had more spending money. Your dollar was worth more.
And President Trump, back in Commander-in-Chief, I would go back to re-enlist today.
When President Trump came down that escalator in 2015, he declared war on the establishment. He declared war on the radical left. And those of us who've enlisted to help him, we are veterans fighting this battle to save America.
You do not have to be a military veteran to be involved in this movement.
Fight, fight, fight.
You should go to TrumpForce47.com and register to support President Trump.
This political regime has made us look weak on a national stage, and therefore that puts a target on our back, and none of us are safe.
In the end, they're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I'm just standing in their way.
Man, that was great, Barron. What you think about that, man? Being a 35-year naval veteran, just seeing that trailer.
Well, the thing is, you know, the veterans have been out forward. I mean, a lot of it's sad, but a lot of these kids running around college, or a lot of these, you know, liberals all over the place, they haven't done any traveling overseas, or if they have, you know, it's selective. You know, I mean, I've been like everywhere. I've been to probably almost 100 countries, and it's a disaster everywhere. And you come back and you literally want to kiss the ground when you get back to America. Every single time I've gotten off the aircraft from, you know, being overseas, especially when it's, you know, in combat stuff, you just come back and you just thank God for what he allowed to happen here. But then it makes you even more passionate. Like when I retired on January 1st of 2020, only to find out that, you know, I can't go to church after 35 years of being downrange and, you know, trying to protect our Constitution. I mean, it's insane. And we're losing it. I mean, we are losing our nation, and this is the last stand. We need to take action, and we need to ensure that we preserve this for ourselves, our kids, and our grandkids, because we are on the brink of losing our nation. You can't just see repeatedly day after day after day after day constitutional violations, and no one says anything about it anymore. They don't even bat an eye. It's not even newsworthy anymore.
Yeah,
it's sad.
So, Robert, welcome to the War Room, man. Can you tell us a little bit about this great trailer that we've seen? I believe it's a documentary that you guys did. Could you let the people know where to go watch it. Just tell us about it. What inspired you guys to do it?
So, first of all, thanks for having me. And thank you to your producer for his 34, I think he said 34, 35 years. That's a lot, man. Thanks for everything you've done. So the purpose behind Veterans for America First, Veterans for Trump, is to energize what I call the forgotten demographic. We're always pushed aside, either by the Republican side as they're a definite vote for us, or the Democrat side where we just don't matter. Our care has gone down. A lot of veterans aren't voting anymore. We still have about 350,000 homeless veterans across the country. Veterans living at or below the poverty level. That's not good.
Yeah,
We probably have about 50,000 homeless veterans across the country, yet you're putting illegal aliens in beautiful luxury hotels in downtown New York. So what we do with our films, the first one, Border Invasion, then we had The Fall of Deceit, now this one, Veterans for Trump. We need to energize veterans to fight harder. Demographics are like anything else. If you're not squeaky, you don't get the oil. They have to stand up as a team and start fighting for better care. And just a couple of points. Trump started that special, I forgot the name of it, where let's say you're dying of cancer and there's an experimental drug overseas, Right to Try, that's what it's called, Right to Try. Well, what about veterans who are living in pain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? There's nothing, the VA is offering acupuncture. Why do you think veterans are killing themselves? Because they can't deal with the pressures of life, the pressures of not being in the service and having that camaraderie, and now living in pain and no one understanding. How about giving them PRP, platelet replacement, or stem cell? How about something experimental to help people who've already given? But no, they don't. They use the resources at the VA to process claims for illegal aliens crossing the border. So we need to energize this base and say, you have a voice, use it, and fight for everyone. And one other thing I wanted to say is, if you notice, the left is always dividing us into groups: white, black, Asian, female, male, trans, gay. Here's the thing about veterans. When you're I was an infantry officer, I don't give I really don't care what color the person is on my left and right, as long as they can shoot that way. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter.
You talking me and Barron's language right now.
Yep. Now you're
talking our language.
Yeah. Now you're starting to see states saying female veteran on the license plate, or female veteran. You don't want to be a female cop. You want to be a police officer. You don't want to be a female soldier. You're a soldier. Why are they attacking the veteran status? Because they want division. And it's really what we need to do is fight the division and say, hey, we're all veterans.
I just said that. I say it all the time. Everybody, we need to get rid of the hyphenated Republicans and all this. Talked about this on the Alex Jones show last week. It's been a part of my platform. I didn't serve in the military, but I've been on many teams and championships, and it was never anything about race or where you came from. No, you came in, you fell in line with everybody else, and you fought hard to work your way up the ranks. Simple as that.
The best athletes, the best leaders. I was watching something as I was waiting. It was Rasheed Wallace talking about his time with the Celtics. And they said, who's the best player you ever played with? And he said, well, the best person I liked playing with was Brian Scalabrine. He's like, he wasn't the greatest shooter. They called him the White Mamba. He wasn't the greatest shooter. He wasn't the greatest passer. But what that man brought to our locker room was leadership, and he was always nice and pleasant. He didn't see him as a color. He saw him as a teammate, and that's what veterans are, but they're trying to divide that demographic too. And we're not going to let it happen. So VFAF is about getting Trump elected. It's about mobilizing veterans to get out and vote and bringing people to the polling places. We have, we go on bus tours. We do get out the vote rallies. It's really to hold together this demographic and not let them break us apart.
That's right. So tell us about the film, a little bit about the film, and what you can share with us and how people can watch it and everything like that. And I believe the proceeds goes to the campaign, the Trump campaign. Is that how it works?
Correct.
Okay.
So Stan Fitzgerald, who has produced all three movies, he's paid out of his pocket for each one. He's not made a dime. What he does is use that money to help President Trump get elected. The film is about mobilizing veterans, encouraging veterans, bringing them together to go out and vote. Your producer and you were just talking about it. We're in bad shape. And it's only going to get worse for that demographic, especially because they've lost so much. So the film is about identifying the problems that veterans are going through and mobilizing them to be a force when it comes to politics. You can't sit out. You can't sit out. You're in the service again, believe it or not. You're fighting for the soul of this country. I don't like cliches, but who better to fight against this evil wickedness like this guy Waltz with the stolen valor? I mean, the mainstream media would be all over it. They're attacking J.D. Vance, saying he's not a combat veteran because he was a journalist in Iraq. Yet this guy quit just as his unit was about to deploy. So we have to get this message out, and what better way to have movies and showings, and it's all free.
Yeah, we have to engage the culture from many ways, and the films, and that's why the left and the liberal globalists have taken over the entertainment industry and made their way into sports. So this is a way that we can counter that by the things that you're doing, to help the president get elected, but also provide another house of media for, material to be created so people can be inspired.
Yeah, and you're doing it. People like you with these podcasts, getting the message out, reaching thousands and thousands of people. It's like an echo. When they're constantly hearing it, they're starting to believe that we can win. If you're only hearing the left on CNN and MSNBC, it starts to weigh it down like, is this all we are? And you brought up something important about the WEF and these NGOs and the globalists. Here's something funny. If you think about our history, millions upon millions of men died defending this country. Not women, men. You're talking about all the wars we've had, it's been 99% men who have died, right? Our enemies know that if it comes down to any sort of war with the United States, it's going to be men who are rising up, if it's here. So what better way to weaken us? Can't weaken us economically. You can't weaken us militarily. So you weaken men. Look at Europe. They're all like effeminate men sitting with their legs crossed like, there's no fight left in Europe. They need us. So how do you do it? Attack kids at a young age when they're confused and trying to get them to think that they could be girls. You never hear about girls transitioning to men and playing in men's sports. It's always how a man could be a woman and play in women's sports. How can we weaken men? And that's the goal of the globalists. Weaken the men in the United States of America, and then we could take it over from inside.
So that's we need to come back and do a show talking about just that alone, Robert. I think, male headship and women are great at what they do, but God made us to be protectors and the leaders, and that's exactly why they've attacked us from that way. And we got to stand up and fight, like you're saying, and that's what we got to do. So I'd like to. We'll talk afterwards, and I'll get with Stan or whatever, and maybe we'll just have a men's mashup on that title, because that's a conversation that needs to keep going. What you're talking about right there, and that's key. We need men. Men have respect. They have honor. You know what I'm saying? And it's on us. It's always been on us. But whenever we take a back seat and men don't stand up, people suffer.
Yeah,
and
God, I believe God made us to be protectors. If you don't believe in God, which you should, then you have to look at nature and say, every lion's pride, there's a massive man there. Yeah, sure, the females go hunt, but when it comes down to someone coming in to hurt that pride, who stands up?
That's right.
So, and your producer there will say, there's always been two PT tests, female and male in the military. But if you can do the same job, let's say, as in the infantry, shouldn't you all do the same PT test?
Yep. I mean, that was the most startling thing coming into the military in '85. Actually, at the prep school, I went to Naval Academy Prep School and enlisted for a year to go there, and they did have one standardized test, and that was great. But then I get to the Naval Academy, and there's this wall that I could hurdle that is the woman's, wall that they're supposed to scale over or whatever. And I look at mine, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, there's no more gross disparity than on day one when, and then it's just like, okay, in war, what's going to happen? No one gets we all do. If you're,
if they just
military
kept
is
the
not the
men's,
place to prove this social experiment. And
if they just kept the men's PT score, if a woman passed that and she's right next to you in infantry, you're gonna be like, awesome. But if you know she has different requirements, you're gonna have doubt.
Right.
And that's
yeah, I mean, there were no problems at the prep school because everyone ran the same stuff, did the same, scaled the same walls. So yeah, I absolutely saw that in real time right when I came in.
So Robert, you pulling off a big Band-Aid right there, and hey, I'm on your team, on your side with this because I'm always going to try to work to be on the side of truth and reality. And this is a conversation that's we need to have. And I know it sounds like you've already been having it, but we need to expand this conversation about men, and you're right. It would be everybody's best interest to believe in God because he puts all this stuff in the perspective for us because it's his order, and anything that goes against that is antichrist or antichrist ideas. And when we do that, it's just destruction. After that point, you put yourself at a major risk. We put ourselves at a major risk when we don't follow his divine order that he's already laid out. And you're right, men need to stand up and be leaders. And we can't have separate walls to scale because those walls in war are all they're not gonna say, hey, it's a female soldier coming right now. The enemy's not gonna say, let's have smaller walls. They're trying to defeat you. They're trying to kill you and conquer you. I mean, it is what it is. It ain't me making it up right now.
And really, Veterans for Trump, the movement, it's almost like the same movement as what we're talking about, which is an amazing topic to have, is how to make men believe in their heart that their job is to be controlled, violent, masculine men who have the ability to be violent in a second to defend their family, but is controlled, but energize men to stand up. And the film is about energizing veterans to do the same thing. There's something inherent about you that makes you a defender of freedom. You have to get that back out of your system and bring it into the fight that we have right now. Because Absolutely. It's over, like the producer said, it's over in 2025 if he doesn't win.
That's right.
You will not have a show.
That's that. Hey, and that's why I'm saying, I tell my wife, don't worry about me. We all have an appointed time to be born and die. When we stand before God, he's going to judge us on that dash in the middle. That's what my pastor says this all the time. And right now, I know I'm not going to speed that up when we know we win in the end. But when I stand before the living God, I want him to say, hey, Antonio, you did everything you could do, and you try to help others to do everything they could do. That's what I would like to hear him say. I can't speed my death up. So
and you don't want it.
I'm all in.
Yep. Absolutely.
I'm all in, Robert. And I appreciate what you guys are doing over there at just as veterans anyway. Thank you for your service. But thank you for the continuation and to serve others and do things for them and to continue to fight domestically here for our country and everything. And you guys are welcome anytime. Anything that you got that we need to share is wide open. Yep. Just let us know, and we'll make sure.
And thanks for endorsing me when I ran for sheriff of Gwinnett County here, and got endorsed by the organization. So
you deserve
up
it.
On the website immediately.
There are some people we give it to with the hope that they're going to do the right thing, but guys like you got it because you earned it. It wasn't like, hey, we had to have a round table to discuss it. I mean, when you earn something, it's yours. Some people have to prove themselves, and we'll hold them to that. But no, you earned that.
Well, and that's the issue with our nation. We're in a position where, we need people, we need men to stand up that love the Constitution. And I'd rather take one between the horns than allow somebody's constitutional rights to be violated. And that's what I was trying to bring to Gwinnett County. I mean, we need in this in that scenario a sheriff to say, okay, these people are my people, and no one is going to abuse them unless they go through me. And we need more constitutionally minded people to do the same thing to get our nation back.
Yeah.
Whenever you run, we'll have you back, and Antonio will always stand by you.
All right, man. We'll appreciate you coming by, and we'll get your links up and everything like that too as well.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. So.